Were worn out from that extended firefight earlier in the day.
And the light snow is already starting across some locations in West Michigan. It's not going to be a ton of snow here tonight, but Muskegon already seeing some light snow being reported. Cloudy skies from north to south. And on the other side of Lake Michigan, there's also some light snow being reported. For those of you that are south of I-96, closer to I-94, you're probably not going to wake up to a whole lot of anything. There may be a dusting out on the car windshield or maybe even your sidewalks if you've been able to clear them out the last couple of days. But those of you around Kalamazoo and south, it'll pretty much just be a dusting of snow, getting upwards of about a half of an inch around I-94 and maybe upwards of an inch of snowfall north of I-96. But that's only for tonight. We're going to add a little bit more snow into the forecast tomorrow, but especially on Saturday, where several inches of snow is expected to fall across the area. What we've got outside on radar right now, Muskegon reporting that light snow, but there doesn't really look like a whole lot is happening up there in Muskegon. We've got that light snow that's starting to enter the lakeshore communities off of Lake Michigan. But as you trend back out to the west, there's a heavier band of some snow that's going to translate on in and bring us the majority of what is expected to stick here within the next couple of hours. And that's going to be pretty much gone by tomorrow morning. High pressure is keeping us quiet, at least for the most part right now, and did so again today with that sunshine returning. But it's not going to do a whole lot to keep us quiet over the next several days, because we're going to see system after system sliding just to the south of it and entering our neck of the woods. So we are going to see consistent snowfall returning to the forecast. Monday is really the only shot that we do have of seeing that sunshine returning, and also the very cold temperatures. So because of the clearer skies, the morning hours on Monday, we can see several spots falling to below zero. What's going to happen tonight? All of us falling to around 10 degrees with that light snow being reported here over the next several hours, but it'll be pretty much gone by the start of the day tomorrow. We'll talk about that more significant snowfall that's entering the picture on Saturday, coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, Eric, thank you. With the new B117 COVID variant causing concerns, local health officials are asking people to listen to the CDC's latest findings on masks.
Yeah, the latest virus strain said to be 50 to 75% more contagious, so 2 masks instead of 1, a better safety precaution in the ongoing fight. Top officials at the Kent County Health Department say although the recent decline in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths overall is hopeful, they still want people to take the steps necessary to keep it that way, which includes the latest recommendations from the CDC on mask wearing. With fatigue and the fight still top of mind for many, health officials are asking everyone to listen and still make good choices.
What we're trying to do is get people to think about it, if it works for them, to use the 2 masks, because really it's just a matter of putting obstacles in the way of the virus getting in or out of your respiratory passages. And so the news of this variant just makes us a little bit cautious, that we want to make sure that we don't go backwards.
Well, the county continues to update its online dashboard on the COVID fight. We have a link in this story at fox17online.com.
And the decline that we are looking for in the COVID fight continues the same day that we pass a grim milestone in Michigan. In the last 24 hours, just over 1,200 people tested positive for COVID, putting our total cases above 572,000. But we should note those 1,200 positives coming from more than 47,000 test results. That means our positivity rate is dropping. Today, it's just under 3%. That's the good news. The bad is that another 75 deaths have been reported tied to the virus, 55 of those coming after a records review. Meaning as of today, we've now seen more than 15,000 Michiganders who've lost their lives to the virus. Derek's here with a closer look now at the vaccination efforts. Derek?
Yeah, Janice, the ongoing total of the numbers of vaccinations right now is taking a look at our first dose across the state of Michigan. More than 1 million people have received their first dose, but as you'll see at the bottom number, we're talking about the number of vaccinated people overall, totally vaccinated, people who have gotten 2 shots. So right now, Michigan at about 1.5 million total vaccinations across our state. As we zoom into Kent County, in the meantime, you see some 76,000 people have received their first shots and 35,000 people are vaccinated. You can, well, it's hard to see the number right there. We're going to zoom in, I think, to take a look at those numbers. 35,000 people completely vaccinated, which means they've gotten their shots twice. Are we not going to zoom in, Zach? Is that right? Josh, we're not going to zoom in. There we go. Okay, sorry. Need to know how much I want to show here. Okay, there's a good look at Kent County. 76,000 and 35,000 have gotten their second shot. Perspective, put it in Ottawa County, about 30,000 people have gotten their first shot, whereas 13,000 people are vaccinated. And up in Muskegon County, the numbers, unfortunately, a little bit lower there. Just 20,000 have received their first dose. 7,000 people vaccinated, which means combined for about 27,000. Put that in perspective, on the east side of our state, you go to the very populous Oakland County, nearly 200,000 total vaccinations delivered there. And then down south in Detroit County, of course, Wayne County, almost 200,000 vaccinations delivered on the east side of our state in Wayne County alone. As you've just heard, briefing up vaccine supply will be critical in keeping up with demand. President saying help is on the way. Speaking at the National Institutes of Health in Maryland today, he updated contract dealings with Pfizer and Moderna, also updated the timeline on how many vaccines are coming and when.
We signed the final contracts for 100 million more Moderna and 100 million more Pfizer vaccines. We're also able to move up the delivery dates with an additional 200 million vaccines to the end of July, faster than we expected. And in further good news, both companies agreed, and we're now contractually obligated to expedite delivery of 100 million doses that were promised by the end of June to deliver them by the end of May. That's a month faster. That means lives will be saved. That means we're now on track to have enough supply for 300 million Americans by the end of July.
Positive news indeed on the timetable. Also restating the previous administration didn't really have a plan for vaccine distribution, which has also hurt rollout efforts during the administration's first few weeks in office.
Meanwhile, Dr. Anthony Fauci, President Biden's chief medical advisor, also expecting that boost in the country's vaccine supply this spring. He spoke on the Today Show this morning, saying he thinks that April will be open season for vaccinations, meaning everyone will be able to get one at that time. He says a third vaccine made by Johnson & Johnson could be approved and in distribution by then. And moves taken by the Biden administration could help increase the country's capacity to deliver doses. Fauci maintains the U.S. could have the resources needed to reach herd immunity by late summer. Michigan, a big focus of the former president's impeachment trial today. Impeachment managers called the armed protest at our state capitol in Lansing last April a dress rehearsal for the storming of the U.S. Capitol. That's part of the 16 hours those managers had to lay out their case. Today, lead manager Jamie Raskin from Maryland showed video clips from that large protest in Lansing, where armed militia members protesting COVID restrictions entered that building with lawmakers still inside. He said the president's calls to protesters before and after that day echoed the same things he said before and after the D.C. riots.
This Trump-inspired mob may indeed look familiar to you. Confederate battle flags, MAGA hats, weapons, camo army gear, just like the insurrectionists who showed up and invaded this chamber on January 6th. The siege of the Michigan State House was effectively a state-level dress rehearsal for the siege of the U.S. Capitol that Trump incited on January 6th. It was a preview of the coming insurrection.
Impeachment managers have now wrapped up their case, and the former president's attorneys are now set to lay out his defense, which is expected to take about a day.
Yeah, then of course it'll be up to the senators to decide the outcome. They've been left with chilling video and calls of the insurrection, some involving their colleagues firsthand. Brian Todd has the latest.
From the first moments, Capitol Police suffered casualties.
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries!
From the first moments, police seemingly knew they could be overrun.
You got a group of about 50 charging up the hill on the west front, just north of the stairs. They're approaching the wall now.
Officers' voices calling for reinforcements get more panicked, desperate.
They're throwing metal poles at us. Cruiser 50, give me DSO up here now! DSO! Multiple law enforcement entries! DSO, get up there!
Never before seen surveillance footage and audio clips of the January 6th assault on the Capitol, played at former President Donald Trump's impeachment trial by Democratic House impeachment managers, drive home the brutality, the sheer terror of the attack. They showed footage of then Vice President Mike Pence being evacuated down a flight of stairs after hiding in a room near the Senate chamber with his family. A Washington Post analysis found that rioters came within 100 feet of Pence at one point.
Extremists reportedly coordinated online and discussed how they could hunt down the vice president. Journalists in the Capitol reported they heard rioters say they were looking for Pence in order to execute him.
The impeachment managers played this footage of staffers for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi scrambling to get into a conference room and shelter in place. They close an outer door, enter through an inner door, and barricade it. Just a few minutes later, rioters stream down the hall, and one slams his shoulder into that same entrance 3 times. He broke through the outer door, managers said, but couldn't breach the inner door. Managers played a cell phone call, a Pelosi aide whispering into the phone as rioters were at that door.
They're pounding the doors trying to find her.
Meanwhile, on police dispatch radio, officers were sounding more and more like they were on a battlefield at war.
At least this Capitol we can defend. We gotta hold what we have.
And it became horribly clear they were losing that battle.
Mr. Pickett, we lost the line. We lost the line. Anthony, pull back.
Footage showed then Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and others reversing course and being rushed down a hallway, and Republican Senator Mitt Romney exiting the Senate chamber toward what he said was his hideaway. But heroic Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodman quickly directs Romney back into the chamber, saying he'd be safer there. Romney later said his family didn't understand how close he was to real danger, and he credits Officer Goodman with saving him.
I was very fortunate indeed that Officer Goodman was there to get me in the right direction.
Lawmakers were shown how close they came to rioters beyond the next hallway doors, to a rioter held at gunpoint on the floor, or, as they left the Senate chamber, to a violent mob coming after them.
As you were moving through that hallway, I paced it off. You were just 58 steps away from where the mob was amassing.
Former president's lawyers allotted to use 16 hours to make their defense in the trial, but they are not expected to use the entire time, as Janice just touched on. That part, of course, begins tomorrow.
Still to come, uproar over comments made by Michigan Senate Majority Leader prompting a response from the lieutenant governor.
That kind of rhetoric is not okay. It's not acceptable, and we need to move past that.
More on the face-to-face conversation between the two that was caught on a hot mic.
Well, a new gig for the former Michigan Speaker of the House, the role he'll be playing in West Michigan soon. And a reminder, you can get more news and weather from Fox 17 by downloading our app on your streaming device like Fire TV and Roku. We'll be right back.
Democrats are calling for Mike Shirkey to step down from his role as Senate Majority Leader after he doubled down on conspiracy theories about the Capitol attack and made other disparaging remarks about Governor Whitmer.
Our Aaron Parsegian spoke with Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist about that conversation.
A candid conversation caught on a hot mic on Michigan's Senate floor Wednesday.
I frankly don't take back any of the points I've tried to make. Some of the words I chose.
Republican State Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey seemingly doubling down on his Capitol conspiracy theories while talking with Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist.
After the invocation, I let him know that I was going to be making a public statement about the comments that he made to the Hillsdale GOP about the hoax and about the really disgusting things about the governor. I just let him know that I was going to be talking about that publicly as a courtesy, like I'm going to give you a heads up, I'm going to be coming at you. And he said, okay. And then he was walking away from me when he turned around and decided to come back and tell me that he was going to double down on his theory about January 6th. So I was just really kind of shocked that happened.
Shirkey doubling down just hours after a secret video was made public in which he said the Capitol attack was a hoax, while also making other disparaging comments like that he contemplated fistfighting Governor Gretchen Whitmer and that the GOP, quote, spanked her on budget negotiations. The state's top Republican now facing calls to resign or at the very least step down from Senate leadership.
That's a question for the Senate Republican caucus to answer. They have a majority in the Senate. They have the ability to merit out whatever type of accountability that they see fit. But I will say